Welcome, operatives. You are currently looking at a highly classified culinary lab report. Our objective today, we're going to execute the exact step-by-step tactical protocols required to assemble the ultimate Hawaiian roll turkey sliders. Listen, we aren't just throwing together a casual weeknight dinner here. No, we are engineering a highly calibrated slider payload. Our objective is absolute perfection, and this explainer will equip you with the precise methodology needed to achieve exactly that.
Okay, let's dive into this. The entire foundation of our mission rests on what the lab refers to as the Matrix. And no, we aren't talking about the movie. This is a mandatory 2-pound turkey slab. This volume is not a suggestion, it is a strict structural requirement. Securing and implementing this full 2-pound matrix is exactly what yields that thick, hardy, pub-style slider payload we're after. Plus, utilizing the entire standard package leaves absolutely zero waste in your kitchen.
Now, to avoid a catastrophic culinary failure, we absolutely must follow this precise chronological mission blueprint. We'll start with the slider payload matrix, then move to Protocol Alpha for the meat emulsion, Protocol Beta for thermal application, the fusion protocols, and finally, we'll review the disastrous 1-pound failure state.
Section 1. The slider payload matrix. Let's establish the absolute golden rule of this formulation.
So, the crucial point is the mass, exactly 2 pounds of lean ground turkey. Optimally, you want that 93:7 ratio. The source material is completely clear on this. Scaling the matrix to exactly 2 pounds is the superior, non-negotiable culinary choice. Seriously, any deviation from this precise measurement totally compromises the structural integrity and the flavor profile of your final product.
Section 2. Protocol Alpha. The meat emulsion. It's time to prep and hydrate our matrix.
To successfully transform our raw material into an optimal matrix, we need to execute a scaled lipid and moisture injection. To your 2-pound payload, you'll add exactly 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, 1.5 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, 1.5 teaspoons each of kosher salt and garlic powder, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper. The directive here is simple. Fold these precise measurements in gently but thoroughly in a large mixing bowl. Overworking the emulsion will ruin the texture.
Moving on to the slab formation phase. First, line a 9x13-inch rimmed baking sheet with parchment paper. Next, you press the emulsion down into a perfectly flat, uniform edge-to-edge rectangle. Because we're deploying a much heavier 2-pound matrix here, you need extra care to monitor step 3 closely. The geometric center absolutely cannot bulge. If you have uneven geometry, you're guaranteeing uneven thermal application.
Section 3. Protocol Beta. Thermal application. Let's get some heat on this emulsion.
Commence the extended bake. A thicker 2-pound slab naturally requires increased thermal exposure in the oven. Bake this at 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius for 18 to 22 minutes. You verify success when the geometric center hits exactly 165 degrees. Upon extraction, you'll see the physics at work. The meat shrinks perfectly away from the pan edges to match the exact 7x9 dimensions of your rolls. Carefully transfer this shrunken slab to a wire rack.
Listen up, because here we have a stern, militaristic warning from the lab report. You must let the slab drain completely. I cannot stress this enough. A 2-pound turkey slab is going to expel a significant amount of liquid albumin in water. If you get impatient and skip this draining step, all that expelled moisture will transfer directly into your Hawaiian rolls, causing the bread to completely disintegrate. Do not compromise the structural integrity of your buns.
Section 4. Protocols Gamma and Delta. Fusion. This is where all our individual components finally assemble. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we implement a vital hydrophobic barrier. Place the bottom half of your rolls into a clean 9x13 dish. But before the meat goes in, deploy 6 slices of cheese directly onto the bread. This creates a waterproof shield that protects the buns from any residual slab moisture. Once that barrier is active, slide the 2-pound turkey slab right on top, add the top 6 slices of cheese, and cap it all with the top buns.
For this secondary fusion bake, timing is absolutely everything. At T-0, apply your butter glaze to the top buns and then tightly lock the entire matrix under an aluminum foil shield. That foil prevents the sugars in the Hawaiian rolls from carbonizing while the internal components steam and melt. Bake it at 350 degrees for 15 minutes. Then, right at that 15-minute mark, remove the foil shield and bake for just another 2 to 3 minutes to crisp up that crust.
Section 5. The 1-pound failure state. Let's move to and see how this builds into the disastrous counter-analysis known as the Red Team Report.
The lab totally anticipates that some rogue operatives might try cutting calories by using only a 1-pound formulation. Notice the stark contrast in the payload yield. Our 2-pound protocol yields a thick, hearty pub-style slab, but if you try to spread just 1 pound of meat across that pan, you create a flimsy, quarter-inch raw sheet. Post-bake, it shrivels into a desiccated, tough membrane roughly 1/8 of an inch thick. Across 12 sliders, you're left with a meager 1 ounce of meat per sandwich.
And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate consequence of this error. To quote the chilling Red Team report directly, the ratio of sweetbread to meat will be so heavily skewed toward carbohydrate that you will barely taste the turkey. Attempting to modify the matrix parameters just to save calories completely destroys the flavor balance, rendering the entire operation a complete waste of time.
We've reviewed the thermal engineering, and we've analyzed the catastrophic risks of cutting corners. The tactical protocols are perfectly clear. So the final choice is yours. Will you compromise your payload with a desiccated membrane, or will you execute the 2-pound protocol for ultimate slider perfection? Good luck out there in the kitchen. Explainer dismissed.